Hey guys, welcome back. So yeah, I want to give you an update. The title's not clickbait, but also want to be very clear that I'm going to be fine. So this is not to scare you. I want to let those of you who follow the channel closely know kind of what's going on. Partially because I promised, I said in one of my last videos that it's really good to be back, and I really thought I was back. I have redesigned my studio, and I have a list of videos I want to do that's like a mile long. But that God seemed to have other plans. So basically, what happened was went in for a routine dermatology appointment, and the doc found a lump on the top of my back, and it was weird because he's like, this is big, but you couldn't tell from the outside. You kind of had to push on it to even find it. You could barely see it. He's like, no, this needs to come out. Like, I don't know what this is, but it needs to come out because it's going to start pushing on your spine. And if you feel tingling in your fingers, like you need, you need to really consider going to a surgeon and getting this pulled out. And I was like, you had me at tingling fingers. And that got weird all of a sudden. Yeah, but he was like, you're pushing on, I don't want anything pushing on my nerves. So I was like, okay, yeah, where do I go? Can you do that? And he's like, no. This is big surgery. This is like, you need to go to a real good surgeon. And if anybody offers to do that in a clinical setting, run. And I'm like, oh man. So we go to a surgeon, and he pretty much says the same thing, but he's like, he thinks it's something else. Also doesn't know if it's serious, but can't rule it out. Doesn't think it is, but can't rule it out. But one thing he knows for sure is it's got to come out, and it needs to come out soon. And so there's a part of me that, like, for 3 weeks, I'm like, I don't know what's in me, and you're kind of like, my dad died of cancer. I have friends who are fighting cancer. I don't have cancer. Just, I'm not going to, let me clear that out, because I know that's a pain. That's a bitch. And cancer's terrible. But I was in that period of not knowing for like 3 solid weeks before I went in. So I go in for surgery, and again, it's the full OR experience. People were very nice, but it's nerve wracking. And this is funny. So I'm on my way back, and if you ever have big surgery, which I've never had, what they do is they give you a little something to like calm you down on your way in. So you're like, you just don't care. And then once they get you calmed down and situated, then they give you the good stuff and knocks you out. Well, I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is I kind of felt like I was in a dream, and I was trying to talk, but I couldn't like get the words out. But I wanted to tell for some reason, it was super important to me to tell the people in the OR, who were very nice for the period of time I was conscious. I wanted to tell them, like, this isn't your fault. I'm not mad at you guys, but this situation sucks. But I was so loopy that all I could say was, you guys are great. That's the last thing I remember. So I'm totally, that was like, you guys are great. And then apparently I woke up, and the first thing I said was like, would you please go get my wife? She's in the waiting room. She's the pretty one. So I'm scoring points with everybody. They really like me. They thought I was nice. Anyways, I show up, and I wake up, and honestly, guys, they go tell my wife. They're like, hey, this was a cyst. Thank God. We still needed to wait on pathology to know that for sure, but they were pretty sure it was just a cyst. But it was big, and it was deep, and that's what they told my wife. I don't think I realized this at the time, but I woke up with a scar, or a wound this big on my back. It's like running east-west, and it's like I said, between my shoulder blades. So I'm like, that was more than I signed up for, it's not like they were hiding it. They didn't know what they were dealing with, and wouldn't until they got in there. They had to kind of get in there to figure out what it was and what all it was going to take. Well, it turns out it was really, really deep and really, really big. I'd later find out it was one of the biggest ones they pulled out of somebody. And it's weird because, again, we didn't even know it was there. So they've got me all stitched up with Steri-Strips, which is like packing tape, and then I forget the product, but I call it meat glue because it reminds me of meat glue. It's people glue. Like Greg Mervich, who's a cop, says they carry those in their kits to stop wounds. But they glued and taped me up, which is what they do because they try to avoid poking holes if possible, so that they didn't want to do stitches. And they're like, "All right, you're good. This looks great," and it did look great at that point. Just stay out of the pool for a week, and you can do anything that doesn't hurt. And I'm like, great. So I go home, really sore, like really, really sore. Spend the week, taking it easy, thinking like this is okay. We're out of the woods. This is good. And exactly 1 week later, I'm going. My wife goes to visit her mom. She's taking care of her mom in another town. It doesn't matter where her mom was. And so she's not here. I stand up, and it was like my back exploded. Like it was the craziest thing. That's what it seemed like to me. My entire back was wet with what looked like blood, and it had gone all the way down to the floor. I'm sorry if this is too triggering, but like it was horrifying. It was like a crime scene. It was the first time in this whole experience I actually thought I was going to die. I actually thought I was bleeding out. Even though I didn't feel like I was bleeding out, I couldn't imagine this much blood coming out of a person. And so this is where it kind of gets funny. I thought I was going to die. How funny. But seriously, my son, who's not great with blood, stepped up huge. I mean, props to him. I laid down on the bathroom floor and called my wife. This is where it gets funny. I call her, she calls the doctor calls me, I call her, and I feel like nobody's talking to anybody for a while. But finally I calm down and I'm like, okay, I'm not bleeding, but it's not stopping. It looks like blood, but it's probably not. It just had that kind of more of a pinkish, I like the stuff that's in the bottom of a package of steaks, that's what it's starting to look like. And so I'm like, maybe this is like just a different type of, maybe I'm okay. Okay, so do I drive to the hospital? Yes, I drive to the hospital. Well, not if I'm bleeding out. That would be a bad idea. Okay, so I call 911. Of course, I call 911. And at the same time, I'm thinking, I don't want to leave the bathroom because I might drip on the carpet and my wife wouldn't like that, which makes no sense. It's just like how your head is spinning and you're kind of in this surreal world. You know what I mean? My neighbor stepped up. One of them, she basically threw on her Superman cape and drove me down to the hospital, got it stitched up this time. And they explained to me that this can happen with surgeries because they cut out a big cyst and the body doesn't like a void, so it fills it up with fluid, and sometimes that looks like blood. That's the situation I was in, and that can the stitches can pull, or in this case, the meat glue can open up, and that this happens. I was like, I wish you would have told me, because it really did scare me. They stitched me up. They're like, same routine, give it a week. Stay out of the pool, and you're good. So I'm like, all right, well, at least we're out of the woods now. Wait a week. I think actually the stitches were the second worst part. They were really, really annoying. I'm not a good stitches person, I guess. But week goes by, we go back in, get the stitches taken out. They're like, yep, you look good. Stay out of the pool for a week. And, that's the theme. Stay out of the pool for a week. I don't spend that much time in the pool, but I'm not going to do it for a week. And then, so 2 or 3 days go on, and my life is back to normal-ish, except I'm still really sore. And then all of a sudden I stand up, and my wife, who's in the kitchen, sees me, and she goes, "Hey, no, you're back!" Which is like, it sounds like you killed Kenny. She's like, "Oh, no, you're back." She had food in her mouth, so I guess I didn't have to include that. But, and yeah, sure enough, like, it opened up again, and that kind of started this routine of us trying to close it, and it not closing, and swapping bandages, and it finally got to the point where it was just ridiculous because we tried everything. Figured out the best tool, just so you know, for absorbing fluid coming out of your back is a maxi pad. Like, so I was in the very masculine situation of having my wife put maxi pads on my back because, again, it was the most absorptive. I mean, that's the purpose of it if you think about it. So, and it's 2023. People using maxi pads for everything these days. That's another conversation. All right, focus. So after a period of time trying to address that like that. I finally sent a picture of it to a buddy of mine who's a doctor back home, and he's like, "Bro, that's not going to close. You're going to need to get somebody to take a look at it. Maybe consider packing it." So we called our doc back, and that's exactly what the nurse practitioner or physician's assistant said. She's like, she recommended having a nurse come by 3 times a week and pack the wound, which is exactly what it sounds like. And so we've been doing that, and the hopes are soon. And when I say soon, probably in the next month, it will close up on its own. It's been weeping ever since. So this is why I haven't been doing videos, is because I can't do this move forward, bend over. It all puts strain on my back. Even though, fortunately, as time passes, I'm not in as much pain. I still have to protect the wound and keep it clean, and it's just not. I'm not in a position to be able to make cooking videos. So that's kind of where my life has been. It's not been the summer that I planned by any stretch, but I have kind of learned a lot, and I wanted to share that with you, because I know anything that's off topic on this channel at least is not going to get a lot of play with the algorithm, but I know that the algorithm is going to show it to those of you who watch consistently. So that's the reason I ultimately decided to kind of share all this stuff with you, is because I know that if you're watching this, especially if you're 11 minutes and 40 seconds into it, it's because you care. And I just wanted to kind of let you guys know so you wouldn't worry about me, and also ask you for your prayers. I mean, I've learned a lot of lessons that I didn't expect to or desire to learn this summer. One of it is like, I got pretty down because I always thought like I was 2-3 days away from being past this, and it's like it's gone on for months now, and it's still not over, and at one point I was at a super low, and I just realized like the situation sucks. That doesn't change it, but I have to change the way I think about it. And the best way I can think about it is to, instead of focusing on what I don't have, focus on what I do have. Because I think it's really hard to be thankful. I'm a Christian, so it's hard to pray to God, thank you for what you've given me, and at the same time feel sorry for myself at the same time. So I literally told my wife at one point, I was like, look, I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to feel sorry for myself for the rest of this day. And then tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to focus on the positive, even if I have to fake it. And it turned out like I didn't have to fake it long, because just the concept, the process of thinking of things that you're really, really thankful for changes your whole mindset. And you can always find things to be thankful for, And so I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to determine where my mind's at, not let my circumstances. The other thing is I just wanted to tell you guys, I want to ask your prayers. I'm not interested in being unhealthy anymore. Like, this is it. I'm done. This wasn't anything related to taking care of myself. I mean, this is just a cyst. It could happen to anyone, But I realized I'm not interested in being at the mercy of the healthcare system. I thought this after my dad died, just watching what he went through, but this kind of reinforces it. So, I've got an accountability partner in place. I've got a diet plan in place. I'm not, I got a long road to hoe, but this is kind of the turning point for me. So I just ask for, if you pray, request your prayers for support, that God will help me stick to it. I just don't want to be in a position where I'm needing surgeries that I wouldn't have needed had I taken better care of myself. I'm done. I'm out. This is no fun, So I just ask, like I said, I just ask for your prayers for that. As far as content on the channel, like I said, I can't lift a lot of stuff because, again, it pulls on all those, not just the wound, but also the muscles and stuff. So I'm going to continue making content because I love making YouTube videos. But it's going to probably be a little different for a while. And I pray that you just ask, I guess, that you just hang with me on this. I've got some fun stuff coming. But it's very different than what I've done before. And then over time, things will hopefully go back to normal. We'll see. I'm I'm kind of like holding the future loosely these days because nothing has gone the way I planned it. So, but yeah, so there'll be more content. It's just not going to probably be intense brisket cooking videos on an offset when it's 105 degrees out in Dallas. I just don't think that'd be good for the hole in my back. So that's it. I guess that's kind of the update. I really, really appreciate you guys. I really do. Thank you for supporting my channel. I know a lot of you will hear what I'm saying and pray for me, and I thanks. I'm thankful to be in a position where I can reach out to so many people who do care, and a lot of you have been around since the beginning, and I'm just really thankful for you guys, and that's what's going on with me. So hope you guys are doing well. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.